Hey everybody, Suzanne here with caregiverhaven.com. And a lot of our members are sending in questions, and I've got two really good questions today that affects all of us. I know it does. And I really want you to hear how we get around this. It's a real problem. So here's the first one from Jan in Virginia. She says, Suzanne, I'm so frustrated I could scream. My 78-year-old dad has diabetes and high blood pressure, and between the two of us, we're spending over $600 a month on prescriptions. I've got two kids in college. I'm working full time, and now I'm driving my dad to doctor's appointments twice a week. And last month, his pharmacy said his blood pressure medication went from $45 to $127, and nobody could tell me why. I feel like I'm drowning financially, and I don't know where to turn. My brother lives 2 states away and just sends a check occasionally, but he has no idea what this actually costs in time and money. How do I get control of these medication costs without spending hours on the phone or driving all over town? Well, you're going to have to learn the system that I've taught thousands of our clients and patients over the years. Okay, so Jan, I hear you. That jump from $45 to $127 with zero explanation, that's the pharmaceutical pricing system working exactly as designed. It is designed to keep you confused and paying whatever they tell you. And here's what's happening. There are companies out there called the Pharmacy Benefit Manager. Okay? That's not their brand name. Pharmacy Benefit Managers. They're companies, PBMs, companies with different names. They sit between your dad's insurance and the pharmacy. And they're often owned by the insurance company, actually, but under a different name. Let's say their name is ABC, right? But they're PBMs. And what they do is they reimburse the pharmacy, but they also set the prices. And that means that the pharmacies are legally bound to charge whatever this PBM says. So it's not the pharmacist's fault. It is the PBMs. But here's the good news. You do not have to accept that 127 price tag. You don't. The first thing you need to do is call 2 other pharmacies. Ask them this exact question. What does my dad's blood pressure medication cost if we pay cash instead of using insurance? Now, you need your dad's insurance in order to do this. And you also need a discount drug card, which is also owned by insurance companies. Okay. So that $5 you pay on those discount cards goes right back to the insurance company on most cases. So you don't even have to think about that. All right. So here's what you want to do. I've seen the same scenario where the cash price at a different pharmacy was $38 while the insurance company copay was $127. Same pill, same dosage, same format. In other words, it was a pill versus a capsule. Okay? A completely different price. Second, use the GoodRx or some drug discount card. Now, most pharmacies already have these cards locked into their computers, so they're going to pick the cheapest one for you. But enter the medication name, the strength, the number of tablets or capsules, and your dad's zip code. And you'll see these prices at every pharmacy that's nearby. But you have to understand one catch here is that those discount card payments don't count toward your dad's deductibles. So if he is close to meeting his deductible, paying that higher copay right now today might actually save money long term because his coverage kicks in once he fully hits that threshold. So if he's in February and he's hit that threshold, he's free and clear the rest of the year, right? But if it's December 30th, you might be better off just using the drug card and saving some bucks because in January it turns over again. Now, next, third, you've got to talk to your dad's doctor about the generic alternatives. Diabetes and blood pressure medications have been around forever. There's tons of generics out there. And if the medication is pills, see if it might be cheaper with capsules or vice versa. And if it's a combo drug, in other words, it's a drug with one is high blood pressure of this kind and high blood pressure of another kind. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's a brand pill. Maybe you'll get it cheaper if you go back to 2 separate medications that are both generic. So make sure they're both generic. Also, maybe a 90-day supply instead of a 30-day is less. All right. There's multiple generics out there, multiple that you could use. Now let's talk about your brother. All right. He needs to understand that sending occasional checks just doesn't come close to hovering over the actual burden that you are carrying. Okay. So have a direct conversation with him and make sure you take a picture of every single receipt, every single doctor's appointment or your calendar, and send it over to him and say, here's what dad's care is actually costing me in gas, in time, in money, and his prescriptions as well as his care. Here's what I'm covering. And I want you to contribute X amount monthly. Okay. You've got to tell him. He's being nice enough to share with you what he can, but he may not have a clue. I've seen this over and over again. When you tell them what the care costs, and actually the average family member that takes care of a senior spends $7,500 a year out of their own pocket. $7,500 a year. So I'm giving you a free pharmacy low price compare sheet. Okay, that's what I call it, my bonus tool below. I want you to click on that. It's all organized for you. It's what I taught hundreds of patients, all my clients, how to shop around. They were not going to pay the highest price. They were going to figure it out. They're going to do mail order, whatever it takes to get these prices down. All right. So you're not going to be a pharmaceutical expert. You're not going to be a pharmacy expert by any stretch of the imagination. You are really just going to learn how to do this, and you're going to get so good at it that you're going to be able to do it in minutes, not hours. Those phone calls don't take that long. They just don't take that long. So go ahead and try that. Okay, the next thing we want to talk about is the second question that came in. And this is from Simpson in Florida. And let's see what he or she says. Okay. Hi, Suzanne. I'm 72 and recently retired. Congratulations. I take 7 medications a day. Okay. Cholesterol, blood thinner, prostate meds. Okay. Simpson's a male. You name it. I've been going to a same Walgreens for 15 years because it's convenient and I know the pharmacist. And last week I was complaining to my neighbor about my $380 monthly prescription bill, and he told me that he takes the same 3 medicines I do and says he pays only $90 at a different pharmacy. And I thought he was pulling my leg. How is this even possible? Are these pharmacists making up money, making up numbers, or what? Okay, am I too old to switch? First of all, you're not too old to switch. You can certainly do this, Simpson. What I need to tell you is, first of all, I know your neighbor is taking the same medications, but are they the same strength? Are they the same form, capsule versus pills? Are any of them a combo or not? Are they all generic? I mean, what's going on there, right? So let's hold that thought for now. But the other thing is, he probably isn't pulling your leg. He's shopping around like everybody does. Doctors don't even know to do this. I've had workshops where, in speeches where the audience is full of physicians and they had no clue that the pharmacies are locked in to what they have to charge, and they're all different. So Walgreens has a deal with their PBM, right? Their pharmacy benefits manager company, to charge X number of dollars for a certain drug. And CVS has another contract with them, same PBM company, but at a different price. So everybody's different. It's based on what the PBMs say. It is not based on what the pharmacy says. Okay? Don't blame your pharmacist. Please don't blame your pharmacist. All right. So you're paying $380 while your neighbor pays $90 for the same 3 medications. And no, you're not going to be mad at your Walgreens pharmacist. All right? You're going to be mad at these PBM managers that everybody hates and everybody wishes would go away because they control the prescribe. They're just invisible middlemen, for lack of a better word. All right. So what we need to do is start saving some money. And if we can save that $290 a month, that's about $3,400 a year. $3,400 is a nice vacation, right? So how are we going to do this? All right. First of all, you don't need to drive anywhere. You're just going to sit down with your phone. You're going to call your insurance company first. Find out which is your preferred pharmacy. Because I have seen husband and wife where the husband was going to Walgreens and across the street, the wife should have been going to CVS because that was her plan that she had, and she saved $756 by going across the street to her preferred pharmacy versus making it convenient and sticking with his Walgreens pharmacy. So everybody has a different plan. Everybody has a different plan. You've got to find out who is the preferred pharmacy in your local area. Does that mean they're going to have the lowest price? Not necessarily, but they usually do when you use your insurance. Then you're going to call 2 other pharmacies and you're going to ask them, as well as your preferred pharmacy, what if I paid cash and used a drug discount card like Good RX or something like that? It takes 5 minutes to do it, but you do need to know the strength, the name of the medication, how many pills you get filled, and we covered all of this in the previous question. All right? Now, the other thing to remember, again, is when you use that discount card, the payment doesn't count toward your annual insurance. I've had many pharmacists tell me that people get mad because they said, well, I paid all this money using a discount card. Why is it my deductible zero, down to zero now, and I don't have to pay any more? Because you've got to do some math here. And you realize that, I've been paying all this money out, but it never applied toward my deductible. All right. So you want to get that deductible taken care of so the rest of the year is free and clear. Something your pharmacist can show you how to do. All right. Pharmacists are really good at math. That's why they got into pharmacy school and they actually passed their boards. They have to be really good at math. All right. The other thing you want to know about these insurance companies is that a lot of pharmacists tell me that the patient comes in and says, okay, I'm going to pay cash for this and use a discount card. I'll show my pharmacist, I'll show my insurance company who's boss. No, your insurance company owns that discount card most likely. So they're going to get their $5 or their $10 out of you one way or the other. So you can say that, but it really doesn't carry much weight. All right. I have never spoken to a pharmacist who hasn't wished that these PBMs would be outlawed. They are horrible for the pharmacy. Pharmacy barely scrapes by. First of all, these PBMs hold all reimbursements and only pay them out once a year, which means that they're holding millions of dollars and they're collecting interest on it. They don't give it to the pharmacies. All right. They pay them once a year. And then they find out, if you talk to any pharmacist, they find out ways not to reimburse the pharmacies. They say, oh, you took too long to fill that prescription. Oh, you should have given them capsules when they wanted pills. And so they say, we're not going to reimburse you for that medication. Now, the pharmacies are paying out to buy these medications from pharmaceutical companies, but these PBMs are just jacking the price up whatever they want to. All right. So pharmacies would wish that somebody would do away with these PBMs. Somehow they snuck in when they should be gotten rid of. All right. I hope that enlightens you and gives you some information so you can start asking intelligent questions to the pharmacist and stop blaming them for these high prices. It's not their fault. Take care and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.